Do you guys have any idea how this band started? You don't know. I heard one no. I guess that everyone else knows where they started. Ben, you need a microphone, man. You're no longer one of those bands without a microphone.
Ah, man, we've done that.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of cool to not need a microphone.
Yeah, it's no electricity necessary.
No electricity necessary.
As a rule, but tonight we need electricity. Otherwise, you would just hear us kind of whispering over here. These guys, you started out playing a wedding. Isn't that kind of the genesis of?
Yes.
Way back when. Talk about that.
Way back. We're 20 years in the business now.
Use a microphone.
So you want me to hold it?
Yeah, why not?
Like this. Yeah, we're 20 years in the business now, and it all started when a friend of mine called me up and said, "Hey, I know you play Jewish music, and we're having a wedding, and could you get a few cats together and play the wedding?" And it was just, I think 2 years ago, we played their son's bar mitzvah. And unfortunately, Patrick and I, and another one of our tuba players, went and played their eldest daughter's funeral a couple of months ago. She was born with a terrible disease, and she made it to age 18. So we're the family band for them. Yeah.
So, in addition to being party music, this is music for like those rites of passage from the beautiful to the sad. So there's something in this music that it applies almost like no matter what the situation, you guys, when it comes to bringing people together. In other words.
Well, that's New Orleans too. We
think so? Huh?
A friend of ours, a guy that had produced our live CD, just passed on Sunday, so we did a big second line for him yesterday, and it was beautiful weather. And you've all been to a second line, you've all been to a funeral parade, but there's something real right about sending that person off in good style. And any of y'all want to say something, just chime right in. I'll pass the mic to you. You gotta just sit there and look pretty.
Let's talk about the party side. Wow.
There you go.
Let's talk about the party side of things here, and when it comes to the music that you guys do, you don't need microphones. You don't need electricity. You can just take it to the streets, and there's a certain dynamic force with what you guys bring.
Well, we have a brass band also, and
you just changed one part of the name.
That's all it is. Yeah, and a lot of the instruments, but patio play.
There's that. You don't.
But look,
yeah,
like Patrick here puts down the banjo, and we did a wedding like this. A couple weeks ago? He brought the banjo and the bass drum. So when the sit down part was over, he put up the banjo, picked up the bass drum. Matt plays a tenor horn, so he put the accordion in his case, grabbed his tenor horn, and then we got out in the street. And actually, we had a trumpet player come meet us on the sidewalk. And
just kind of joined.
Huh? Yeah.
It's like pushing a fader up in the mix. You just have another instrument right there. That's good. There's something known as hot playing, right? And it's not just like in August here in New Orleans. What is hot playing?
So if you're playing a parade, do you get out there and be all cool? So there's thousands of people on at Mardi Gras parades, uptown St. Charles Avenue. Boom, crossing Louisiana Avenue, and there's crowds everywhere, and we're coming into the scene. It kind of opens up at the big intersections. You got to bring it. You have to bring it. You have to blow with everything you got. Mm-hmm. And we've all done that. Everybody in this band has done that on numerous occasions. So that gets into gets into your playing. And the fact that, we could have rocked this party without the PA, but they wouldn't have heard it on the radio.
Yeah, we couldn't have recorded it that way.
But we do a lot of weddings. We played, y'all know the Marigny Opera House? It used to be the church on St. Ferdinand. So they had a wedding last Saturday, and we played in there. No mics, so it's just kind of like you're in a situation, and everybody's looking at you, and they want to party. You have to be ready to bring it.
All right. Speaking about bringing it, I recall a story. You guys, when you were first together and you were playing on the streets, you ran into the Storyville Stompers. And it wasn't pretty at first. You guys kind of walked away with your tails between your legs. So.
Well, it was kind of like this. You know, you might have been on this one.
The tuba player didn't show up.
Well, there was one year
good.
I'm thinking of where we were, I don't know who we were marching with. It might have been Crew to Jew. You weren't there, okay. Or I don't know. It might have been Julu, actually, back when I used to march with Julu. And, you know, we would start uptown and work our way into the French Quarter. And so we're coming up, we're feeling good, you know. We're like, yeah, we it, you know. And we're coming up, I think it was Charter Street. And who do we see coming at us? Mardi Gras Day. It must have been St. Anne, but there's the Storyville Stompers. So we're like, all right, we're going to take them.
Famous last words.
But here's the thing. They stand really packed really tight, and it's a big band, and they march in a really tight formation. So we were the bowling pins, and they were the ball. They were much denser than us. And so I learned something that day, you know. I mean, there's a certain, like, kind of loyalty fire, and especially on Mardi Gras Day. I'm sure you all felt that when you get out there with your crew. Yeah. And, you know, you kind of want to know who you're running with that day. Uh-huh. And in our case, we look for the orange shirts because we wear orange shirts. And it's, you know, like, I'm really loaded. I'm a little scared, but I see those orange shirts. So you really just kind of have to stick together.
Speaking of sticking together, as you guys are on the streets, there's something else. You have this participatory part of it where you guys in the audience hopefully have all been at a second line, or if not, you need to find one as soon as possible. There's that dividing line. Most places you go for music, there's a stage. There might even be barricades between you and who's making the music. There's something about the music you guys make that people get it, they become part of that circle with you. They might even pick up a Heineken bottle and start beating it with their keys.
There's a really famous quote from Sidney Bechet that illustrates that point. He says, in New Orleans, there isn't this separation between the band and the crowd. It's two parts of the same thing. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a party. And so I won't take credit for that. You know, we do that because that's how we roll, but we live in New Orleans and we play and we work here. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of, I was just emailing this guy up in Maryland, you know, trying to get a gig. And I said, I don't know if you've ever been in New Orleans, but, you know, music goes down a little different there. Trying to describe us. And, you know, we evolved there. We're 20 years working in New Orleans, so that's kind of how we roll, you know.
That's actually great. 20 years. Let's hear it for that. 1995, these guys got together, so...
Thank you. It hasn't been easy, but it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. I was going to ask you to name all the different traditions of music you're drawing upon, but I don't. Genres aren't necessary. Why don't you, if you have a way, I could hold the mic. Could you show a rhythm that kind of shows up and?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you? I can.
Well, you know, everybody knows. Yeah. I mean, here's the cool.
Here's something that's real fascinating. There's a certain beat. It doesn't matter what language you're speaking or what spices you use. It's going to kind of show up because
everybody knows Pocky Way. Let's go get 'em. Right? So that's all over the Caribbean. You get that all over the Caribbean world, and in the Beguine, same thing. Okay, but now slow it down halftime. That, you know, the Jewish music, it's all over the Jewish music, but it's half tempo. And then like the gypsy music that we played, Chororo from Serbia. This is like the Čoček. Čoček is a dance from southern Serbia. Same rhythm, you know, so it's sort of like you take a circular rhythm, but you fit it into a 2-beat, into like a square rhythm. So instead of being like a 3, and now it's... And you get that everywhere. You get that all over the place. I haven't studied any type of Asian music, but it would not surprise me to find that. And I'm sure there's a direct correlation, to the heartbeat of people that study. I had a teacher in college who was a percussionist, a drummer, but he also did acupuncture and Chinese medicine, and he healed people with the drums. And, he was really into it on that level. And I wish he were here right now because he could probably enlighten us on that.
I think we've been moved enough with words. I'm not sure if you guys are ready for... it's a little confusing because the setup normally is one last song, so I have to admit...
Right, we've done that already.
We already heard the last song, so... I just see all these fine young gentlemen, the beautiful woman already left, so we have to be thankful for the fact that in many ways New Orleans music is another ethnic music. It's not just a city. It's this whole other universe that you've tapped into, and you've shown a way to bridge it to all these other musics. And I would say I'm very thankful for it. What about you guys?
Thank you. We appreciate y'all. Like you said, that rhythms and all these different things, but then, that spirit of New Orleans and of this culture and this place, I think this music was here before any of the people were here. It comes up out the earth. Mm-hmm. Our fourth CD is called Dance of the Hot Earth. It comes up out the ground, and so if you're playing Jewish music in New Orleans, it's got that same type of spirit.
Let's hear for that. Yes.